All right, let's get right into it. We're going to tackle one of the biggest questions on everyone's mind right now. Is AI actually coming for our jobs? We're going to cut through all the headlines and look at what the real data is telling us.
I mean, this is it, right? The question that keeps us all up at night. Every time a new, ridiculously powerful AI model comes out, you see the articles, you feel that little bit of anxiety, and you have to wonder, is this it? Is the great replacement finally happening?
Well, a couple of brand new economic studies just dropped to give us our first real clue. But here's the thing. The story they tell is a whole lot stranger and way more interesting than the simple robots are taking over narrative you've been hearing.
So, to really get what's happening now, we have to understand that this conversation, it's not new, not at all. It's this endless debate, this cycle of panic and then reassurance that's been going on for years.
You know the drill, right? It feels like every time some part of the economy struggles, AI becomes the easy villain. But actually proving it, showing that AI is the direct cause, that's always been super difficult. So the debate just keeps raging on. Because honestly, the evidence has been pretty fuzzy. Until maybe now.
And that's because, for the first time, we've got two major economic studies looking at the very latest data from the ChatGPT era. The only problem? They're looking at the exact same world and coming to two completely opposite conclusions.
Okay, so check this out. On one hand, you have a study from the Economic Innovation Group. They looked at the data and basically said, nothing to see here yet. If there's an effect, it is so tiny it's almost impossible to find. But then you have another study from some of the top economists in the field, and they found the total opposite. Substantial declines for a very specific group of workers. So, who's right?
To figure this out, we've got to zoom in on that more alarming study. It claims it's found the canary in the coal mine, that first early warning sign. But the warning it's sending is, well, it's just plain weird. Okay, let's break it down. The study found that since late 2022, employment for young workers, we're talking people fresh out of college, aged 22 to 25, in jobs that are highly exposed to AI, think software developers, writers, analysts, has dropped by a pretty significant 6%.
But here is where the story completely flips on its head. While those younger workers saw that 6% drop, their older, more experienced colleagues, people over 30, in the exact same jobs, saw their employment shoot up by 8 or even 9%. That is the puzzle we need to solve.
And economist Noah Smith just hits the nail on the head with this quote. Think about it. If AI is truly making these jobs obsolete, why on earth would companies be on a hiring spree for experienced 40-year-old engineers? It doesn't add up.
So you can imagine, a bizarre result like this immediately set off all kinds of alarm bells for other economists. They started digging into the data, asking, is this really the beginning of the end? Or is this just some statistical fluke?
The skeptics pretty quickly came up with a few big reasons for doubt. First, that weird age gap just makes no logical sense in the simple AI is taking our job story. Second, and this is a big one, wages for these jobs aren't falling at all. Plus, there's always the chance that this is just a random pattern in the noise. And on top of all of that, economists are still arguing about the best way to even measure if a job is exposed to AI in the first place.
And let's just park on that wage issue for a second, because it's a huge red flag. It's like Econ 101, right? If demand for a certain type of worker goes down, their pay should go down too, supply and demand. But the study found absolutely no slowdown in wages for these jobs, which really pokes a hole in the whole job apocalypse theory.
So, if it's not just a story about jobs disappearing, what else could possibly be happening here? Well, there's another theory, a really fascinating one that might just solve this entire puzzle.
The whole idea comes down to this. Thinking of AI as either a complement or a substitute. So, what if for an experienced worker, AI isn't a substitute that replaces them, but a complement, a powerful tool that an expert can use to become even better at their job? But for an entry-level worker, maybe AI is a substitute for the basic skills they bring to the table. And suddenly that weird data makes perfect sense. Companies are using AI to automate the simple, entry-level tasks so they don't need to hire as many recent grads. But, and this is the key, to manage the AI, to write the right prompts, to catch its mistakes, you need people with deep, real-world experience. This actually makes senior talent more valuable, which would explain exactly why companies are hiring more of them.
Now, as perfectly as that theory seems to fit, it's really important to remember that this mystery is far from solved. I mean, we are in the very, very early days of this massive technological shift.
This is not a settled fact.
This is a live investigation. What we're witnessing is the world's top economists grappling with this in real time, trying to make sense of the first trickles of data from a technology that is changing everything. We are watching the future of work get figured out as we speak.
So the real story here isn't one of simple replacement. It's about a fundamental shift in the value of our skills. And that leaves us with a critical question to think about for ourselves. In this new AI-powered world, is your experience your greatest asset, or is it just buying you time?